I did about it. So this was an interesting question. This next question from Nikki. So she asked, is a female witch more powerful when she allows her period cycle to be natural, especially if it's synced with the moon's cycles? And can that energy be harnessed? So of course I can only talk about this from an outside perspective, being as a man. But I do know, you know, a lot of women in my life, and I know witches who are women and have talked about these things in front of me or with me. So I can give sort of an insight into this as well, or sort of somewhat of an answer to this. And I think Nikki was asking this question because she prefaced this question by saying she had spent 10 years on, I already forgot what she said, on something that stopped her periods from happening at all for 10 years. It's like she just did not have periods for 10 years. And it was like adjusting her hormones and stuff. And then she went from that to just getting off of that pill and letting her period come back in its natural cycle, and that her period ended up aligning with the full moons. So that is actually quite normal as far as I have witnessed or seen of it in women or in other female witches. I have definitely seen a correlation there, that their periods will align with the moon cycles in some way. For some of them it aligns with the dark moon, for some of them it aligns with the full moon, for some of them it aligns with the new moon, like the waxing crescent moon. And I think that that's completely normal for a female witch. Do I think that they're more powerful? You know, I don't really know, honestly. Because what about witches who are crones? What about female witches who have gone through menopause? They don't have periods at all anymore, and I still think that they're powerful. So I don't know necessarily if it really has any kind of effect on your power. But I do know and think it's completely normal for it to align with the moon cycles. And I think it's good to just let your body naturally do what it needs to do. I do not think it's good to be on a pill that's just stopping your periods from ever happening, when you should naturally be having them. I don't think that's good. So if I'm comparing it to that compared to just having your period naturally, I do think that's better for your health and just for you overall, for your energy field. So when I'm comparing it in that way, I would say, yes, you're more powerful if you're letting your periods happen naturally. And you're not suppressing them with pills. That's really all I can say on this question, though. Can the energy be harnessed? Yes. I do think so. You know, female witches who have periods, I think, have a lot more ease to utilize blood magic compared to women who don't have periods, or compared to men who we would have to like prick ourselves or draw blood or something in an uncomfortable, painful way to get access to blood. But women who have their periods can use blood magic monthly. So in that regard, I do think that there's a powerful energy there that you have access to. But it's your choice to use it or not. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm sorry I don't have more to say on it, but I'm really not an expert in this field. The next question is from Lynette. How do you feel about psychedelics? That's a good question, but once again, it's something I kind of have very limited experience on, so I can't really answer this in depth with no like personal experience. I have never done any kind of psychedelics. The only kind of drug or whatever that I have ever done is marijuana in my lifetime, so I don't really have any kind of insight into anything else. And I will say, I guess I'll just talk about marijuana a little bit because that's the only thing I have experience with. I think it has pros and cons to it, because I think that, actually, this isn't just an opinion, okay? You can research this. It's true. Using marijuana in particular and specifically, it opens up your mind to a certain type and pathway of spiritual experiences. That is true if you use it in that type of setting and with that type of intention, okay? It can be used as a tool to open up your mind to spiritual layers and experiences. Definitely, that is true. That's my experience with it. But then again, that has to be the intention, and that has to be the way that you're using it. If you're like smoking like ridiculous amounts just to do it recreationally with like a huge group of friends who aren't even spiritual and stuff like that, I don't think it's really serving your higher good. But if you're using it in a spiritual way, smoking it moderately, you know, just enough to open those doorways, then I think that that is the right use of it. And that's when it can benefit you. However, once again, you can look this up to verify it. If you are smoking it regularly, frequently, then in a way, you'll kind of become dependent on it for that spiritual experience, to where it will block you when you're not smoking. So it has its pros and cons. I guess it just depends on your use of it and on your ability to moderate your use of it and use it responsibly for spiritual purposes. If you're just smoking every single day for recreational use, then like when you don't smoke and you try to do something spiritual, you can be blocked because you have built that you've built that up as a chemical reaction in your brain to sort of be dependent on it. So then if you quit, it will take some time for you to be able to get into those spiritual states without using marijuana. So once again, that is speaking from personal experience, but that's also speaking from scientific research that I have studied about it. So I actually studied that after I had my own personal experience with it, and after Hecate told me to quit smoking, I did research about it to understand, like, was there really like verified science behind this? And there is, if you look it up. So one of the main things that marijuana blocks is your dream state. So maybe that's why some people can't recall their dreams. I don't know if you smoke, Brianna. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything like that, but smoking blocks your dream state. It kind of blocks your third eye. If you're smoking daily, if you're smoking all the time, and then you stop smoking, like if you're not high, your third eye will be closed. Your ability to dream, which comes from your third eye, will be like shut down pretty much. And then whenever you smoke again, whenever you get high again, your third eye will open during that time when you're high. Pretty much. That's how it ends up working when you are addicted. So that's my take on that. I think that psychedelics, including marijuana, I'm considering it a psychedelic, since that's the only thing I have any input to talk about in this video on. I think that they are all meant to be tools. I think that the universe, that nature created them specifically for us to use as tools, because there are specific cellular, or whatever the fuck they're called, there's receptor cells in our brains that are specifically molded to receive these chemicals that come from psychedelics. And those cells that receive those, they're not molded to receive anything else except for those specific cells that come from, or specific chemicals that come from psychedelics. So there obviously seems like there's some kind of like programmed relationship or interface there that was programmed and written into our DNA, and the DNA of the, or I don't know if it's called DNA, but the okay, I'm not a scientist, whatever, like the genes or the DNA of the plants and the different psychedelics that there are. You know, it's like a key and a lock thing, okay? So it's like there's receptors in our brains that only receive those things only. That the chemicals and the different psychedelics are like the keys to that lock. So I think that's very much something that you should definitely do your own research on, because like I said, I'm pretty much butchered whatever the fuck I'm trying to say here, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Do your research on it, because it's a very interesting thing to look into. And I do think that there's some sort of purpose and meaning and reason that it is like that. So, and I think that that is because they're supposed to be tools. We're supposed to use them as tools. And I don't necessarily agree with using them recreationally, just for fun or something like that. And it's because of the reason of what I said, that if you do use it like that, if you use it in a daily, frequent way, you will end up shutting down your different powers and abilities, you know, magically and spiritually, because you're making your brain dependent on the substance to activate your abilities. Okay, so I'm not saying that people who smoke marijuana won't be able to do magic. I'm just saying that it will suppress it to a large degree. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. But I, once again, do think that psychedelics serve a purpose. I think that we are meant to use them in a spiritual context for spiritual reasons, to open doors and get into altered states of consciousness that we might not ever be able to achieve without the psychedelics. But I do think that they need to be used in that capacity and responsibly and in moderation, like not doing it constantly. Just do it, you know, for specific trance and journey work, and then, you know, live your life regularly afterwards, not just doing it all the time. So I hope that answers the question and gave some insight that maybe y'all did not know about. Okay, the next question is from Cameron. Do you know anything about horsing the gods from the perspective of Sadir? I have absolutely no idea what that is, honestly. However, it does make me think about what they call in voodoo, where the Loas ride you, and that's what they're calling a possession experience, where the spirits, more or less, they possess you, they ride your body, you know, or they drive it from the inside, whatever you want to call it. It's like they're possessing you. I don't know if that's what horsing the gods in Seder means, but that kind of made me think of that, so maybe that's what it has to do with. I don't know. I honestly have to do some research on this, because once again, Seder is not something that I'm very advanced in yet. I'm still like learning myself on that aspect and in that pathway of magic. So I'll have to do some research on that and talk with the gods about it, and, you know, see what comes to me. But if it is what I'm thinking it is, about a form of possession by the gods or something like that, then I think that's very interesting, because I did not know that that was in Norse magic or Seder at all. So thank you for asking that question and bringing that to my attention, because that is definitely something I need to research about. And I will, if I research this, or when I research this, and if I get any insights or information about it from the deities, because right now Goddess Freya is the one that's teaching me about Seder. So if I talk with her more about it, and if I get more insight about it and information about it, I will do a video about it or something and give my answer to this question. But once again, thanks for bringing that up. Okay. The next question is from Mariana, and she asks, is there such a thing as working magic without the help of spirits? Like using herbs and curios, candles, color magic, moon phases, etc., but without necessarily calling upon any spirits for help. Would that be considered as the practitioner's own power of influence, the use of the energy of objects, or are spirits always involved in helping with magic? That's a good question, and I feel like I have pretty much touched on this quite a bit. I do think that spirits are involved with everything. So, I don't know, but that's also a good question, because I do feel like we do have a personal power in and of ourselves. Let me think about how I want to word this for a minute. So I think that we absolutely have power in and of itself. We have our own influence. We have our own power. But I still feel like spirits are involved intimately with everything anyways. This is kind of a complex thing to explain. I think that there is magic that you can do on your own. I have to say that I do think that, yes, there is magic that you can do on your own. But at the same time, I do think that spirits are involved with most things, if not everything. I think that this is a tough one to answer, because I think that spirits are around every single person. I think that we all have spirits with us. I think that there's always ancestors or your deities or your guides or your protectors. I think that they're always constantly around you. So I can't really be sure that whenever you think you're doing magic of your own, you know, let me give an example of what I'm trying to say. A lot of witches, when they become super advanced, won't necessarily have to cast spells or call on spirits or do anything. Just your own thoughts and your own feelings will start to manifest results in the outer world. And to a large degree, I think that's because of your spirits. Your spirits know what you're thinking and what you're feeling at all times. And I think that once you have built up that strong connection to the spirits, in whatever way that is, and whatever spirits that they are, that they will just act on your thoughts and your feelings pretty much automatically. It does seem to be stronger when you cast a spell or when you call on them directly, but just by thinking and feeling a certain way, the spirits can start to act on your behalf. And that's why it's so important to circle back to more or less the beginning of this video. It's important to control your thoughts and emotions. You have to have discipline over your thoughts and emotions, because especially once you become more advanced in these abilities, your thoughts and your emotions direct your power and direct your spirits. So it's very important to be in control of that. And I don't know, I mean, I feel like it's so closely interrelated that I don't feel that there's that much of a difference, honestly. Because even in your question, you're saying using herbs, curios, candles, colors, and moon phases. Well, all of those have spirits. Everything has a spirit. So it's not just the spirits that are around you, but everything, whether even if it's an inanimate object, it has its own spirit. Especially herbs and curios and the moon and the planets. If you're working with any kind of planetary influence or planetary colors, the tables of correspondence pretty much all go back to the planets. Those are spirits. The planets are spirits. So, you know, that all has its own power because there's a spirit behind it. Herbs are living things, of course, before they're dried up and stuff, but they're from a living thing, and they still have that connection to the spirit of the herb. Crystals, you know, they have their own power because they have their own spirits. So I feel like, I mean, it really just is all so closely interrelated that I don't think there's really that much of a difference. Your personal power is the spirits, okay? And you have to look at this also through the lens of understanding that everything is one anyways. So that's one of the fundamental concepts of magic, and why magic works is because you're connected to everything. Your mind is part of the one mind. Everything is mind. Go back and look at the what is it called? Go back and look at the Book of Thoth and the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, and go back and read that, and the Hermetic Principles. Go back and read those as well. Everything is connected. Everything is interrelated. So truly, none of us are even separate from the spirits at all. We're not separate from anything that we're using, none of the tools that we're using, none of the objects that we use, and none of the things that we're causing an effect on. It's all connected, and that's why magic works, because it's all connected, and because all of the spirits are also connected as well. So I guess my true answer is like no and yes at the same time. You do have a personal power, but that is connected to the spirits and to everything. So can you do magic without the help of spirits? I would say no. Because we're all connected. It's all connected. It's all interconnected so deeply that anything that you do has a spiritual influence. Your own spirit exerts an influence, but that influence that it exerts is in the capacity of your relationship to the spirit world and to all the different spirits that you're interacting with, down to the tools that you're using and stuff. It's all interconnected. So that's my answer to that question. And then the final question is, a couple people were asking me, why do you wear the talismans that you wear? And they're referring to these ones in particular. Well, first of all, I wear like a lot of different talismans, so I don't know why y'all asked about these ones in particular, but I guess I'll explain it. This is a septagram, a 7-pointed star, and I just wear it because I like its energy. The 7-pointed star has lots of different symbolism. It represents the fairy magic. It represents fairies and the fae. It represents the 7 planetary powers. It also represents the goddess Babylon. It represents divine wisdom. And to me, it's just that higher vibrational energy of magic. And it feels like it's multi-dimensional. You know, as compared to the pentagram or something, or the pinnacle, just the 5-pointed star, the pinnacle feels like a very earthly energy to me. It feels very much solid, material, earthly, earth-centered. Of course, with spirit ruling over it, but it still feels very much earthy, of the physical realm and the earthly realm. And then when you have the 7-pointed star, to me it feels very much more multi-dimensional, like more connected to the other realms as well as the earth. I guess that's how I'll say it, and that's what it represents to me. That's why I wear it, because I want to be connected to those other realms. I want to be connected to the fairies. I want to be connected to the planet, all the different planetary powers and energies, to the goddess Babylon, to divine wisdom, all of that energy. That's what it represents to me, and it just represents a lot of high vibration, basically. That's why I wear this one. And then this one, the labradorite, or one of my labradorite pendants. What did I consecrate this one for? I consecrated this one for, I think, psychic empowerment and connection, to channel like wisdom and just psychic connection in general. So that's why I wear this one. And also to bring control of my psychic abilities. You know, because one of the main things that is a problem for people who are psychic naturally, or like empathic and stuff, is that it's really not under your control at first. Like, you have to learn how to control it over time. And one of the ways that you can do that is by utilizing different stones and crystals that sort of act as a way to get control of your psychic abilities. And so that's another reason why I love wearing labradorite all the time. Moonstone, tiger's eye, all these different stones that help you control your psychic abilities, so that you're not just like an open doormat to receive anything and everything. So these are especially helpful stones to people who are psychic and open like that, because it will help you control it. Okay, so that's what I consecrated this for: control of my psychic abilities, enhancing my psychic abilities, and connecting with the higher realms as well, psychically. Because this one is for just getting in touch with that high vibrational, multidimensional power. And then this one is for more of the psychic connection to all of that. Okay? So that's why I wear these necklaces. I hope I answered those questions. Answered a little curiosity on that. These are not my only talismans, though. I have like a lot of different talismans that I wear for different purposes. I just happen to be wearing these in some of the videos when y'all ask about them. So that's basically it for the Q&A. Thank you all for watching. Thanks everyone who asked questions. I enjoyed this, and I look forward to doing more in the future. If you didn't get to ask a question in this Q&A, you can leave a comment below with your question, and I will get to that in the next Q&A. I also want to tell y'all some other videos I'll be making, because these also came up as people's questions, but they deserve their entire whole videos. Someone asked me about to talk about the origins of the devil, and I think that that would be a good video to do, since I did the video on Christianity and the Christian God recently. I think it would be kind of like fun to look into the origins of the devil and just do that as a video to talk about and share my perspective and views on. So I'll do that video. Someone asked me for a beginner's guide for casting your first curse, which I thought was hilarious. But also, I think it would be a good thing to cover. So, you know, I don't see that on YouTube a lot anywhere, actually. So I think that would be a great video to put out there. So I'm doing that one. Someone asked me to tell more paranormal stories that I've witnessed or helped with. So I think that would be a great video to do. I have like so many different stories and things to share. So I'm going to do another little witchy story time video soon. And then the final video that I have upcoming for now, excuse me, people were asking me to do an update on Hecate, and all of that, like an updated video on Hecate and getting in contact with her and stuff like that, which I kind of covered in that other person's question in this Q&A, but I will do like a complete update on Hecate soon as well. So those are all the videos upcoming, and that was all the questions for the Q&A. Thanks for watching for this 2-hour-long video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed it, I should say. And I hope that I answered everyone's questions thoughtfully and gave you some food for thought and some information that you maybe did not know yet. Alright guys, once again, leave a comment below if I did not get to answer your questions, or if you have any new questions or anything, leave that below, because I would love to do another Q&A for all of y'all. And please like and leave a comment just in general, and share the video, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'm almost to 4,000 subscribers, and I'm like super excited about that, because I'm going to do another giveaway when I reach 4,000. So we'll keep getting closer every day, guys. Can't wait. And I'm going to give away like tons of books on the 4,000 subscriber giveaway, because I have a lot of books that I don't necessarily want or need anymore. So I'm going to be giving those away to somebody. So, among other things, but yes, I'll talk about that when I get to the giveaway. But that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hail Hecate, hail to the witches, and blessed be.